Crawford needs to fight Teofimo first, and then we'll see, right? At the end of the day, like I said before, I'm not asking for that fight. They wanna make that fight because it's a payday, obviously. But I don't want that fight. I think Teofimo deserves more than me.
It's a great fight. People want to see it, then we'll do it. You know, I don't say no to any fight. You know, as long as it's eye catching and eye candy to all of you that are watching right now, that's what really matters, you know. So, however, my main focus is truthfully Crawford, and I know so it is.
Teofimo Lopez has come forward to say that he wants to fight Terence Crawford and Yaron Butsanis. While this was going on, Canelo Alvarez was having an affair with his Excellency Turkey Alalshik Bespoke. Crawford's future plans in danger, as a Lake recently said he didn't want to set up a fight between Canelo and Crawford because Canelo wanted 15 million, which was ridiculous. The first decided to disregard the Canelo fight as I don't want it anymore. Instead, I will be focusing on the US market with bigger fights, especially for the legend set. Later, Turkey explained his earlier unexpected choice. He said that they are currently focusing on making fights that are both profitable and exciting, which is not something in which Canelo seems to be very interested. He wrote, "I knew he was wasting our time and making excuses with big amounts of money that can't be paid, so I'm continuing my way to make big fights that serve the boxing world, and he's on his way to making easy Shamal fights." Canelo didn't waste any time responding to Turkey's comments, which came out after his angry press conference and fight with Edgar Berlanga, which almost led to a fight. Canelo says he wasn't excited about this fight at all because he and Crawford are different weights. He respects Crawford as a fighter, but he doesn't see him as a tough opponent, especially after how he fought Madrimov recently.
Crawford is a great fighter, and I don't want to talk about that. He's a great fighter, and I have nothing to with.
Canelo appeared upset with how he was handled, then stated that he would have accepted the sale on his own terms since he dislikes how the Saudis conduct business, which is why he is having so much trouble with them. Canelo believes that the best case scenario for Crawford is to fight Teofimo Lopez, who is not only the best fighter at 140, but also deserves it.
Crawford needs to fight Teofimo first, and then we'll see, right? At the end of the day, like I said before, I'm not asking for that fight. They want to make that fight because it's a payday, obviously. But I don't want that fight. I think Teofimo deserves more than.
With the focus now shifting to Teofimo following Canelo's remarks, an old debate has erupted about who would win if Lopez and Butsanis ever fought. In light of TFO's incessant demands to fight big names like Bug, Gervonta Davis, and Yaron Ennis, it appears that he may finally have a chance to get the epic fights he has been earning for.
All about making boxing great again. That's what I came back to do. Because I know as long as I keep facing the fighters, calling out champions like Terence Crawford, that people are like, this man's crazy. Well, yeah, I'm crazy. I mean, I'm crazy to be great. When was that a problem? You know, and I mentioned that Roberto Duran fought all 4 kings or 3 kings and was a guy that everyone respects highly. Muhammad Ali faced Joe Frazier and so many other great champions that, you know, and got dropped in front of the world, in front of him. Like, who cares? You go and you...
After witnessing the fight between Crawford and Madrimov, Teofimo stated how it was evident throughout the match that Terence's age might be catching up to him, as the once ferocious boxer was not in the ring during the fight. Expressing his agitation about this, Teofimo went on to state that he would like to get an opportunity with Crawford promptly, as he could see his golden chance slipping away due to Terence getting older. He stated, "The age is catching up to Crawford. I think he should fight the guy that's coming up next, who is me." Teofimo also weighed in on the option of fighting Yaron Ennis, as he is one of the most famous fighters in his welterweight division, and as an IBF world title holder, he might provide the big fight that Teofimo has been coveting since his comeback earlier this year. He stated, "I have nothing but respect for Boots, as we've known each other for a long time now. It's a great fight, and if the people want to see it," Teofimo stated, "my main focus is truthfully on Quet, and I know it is for him too. So we'll see what happens down the line, and see what happens for us this whole year and for the next year to come." Meanwhile, despite Tu's desire to face Crawford, now backed up by the comments made by Canelo, it appears as if the stance of Crawford and his team is still cynical in this, regard. As recently after Terence's wings trainer and avid supporter, Brian Bomac McIntyre exploded at Brian Bomac McIntyre stated that this proposition is not even reasonable because Teofimo brings nothing of value to the table that could pique Crawford's interest. He also stated that even if this were not the case, Teofimo is still nowhere near worthy of fighting Crawford because he has lost the luster that he once possessed.
Is actually adamant in calling out Terence Crawford, saying that that's his match. Teofimo Lopez. He don't bring to the table neither. Trash. He trash. He used to be good, but now he trash. You heard it first. Y'all put it out there. He trash. You trash. You straight trash, dog.
8 Oladipo, a respected boxing expert and commentator, recently analyzed the whole situation and made it clear to his viewers that Canelo vs. Crawford might not come to fruition. He first noticed that Crawford's performance against Israel Madrimov, while effective, fell short of the exceptional display needed to build excitement for a potential jump to 168 pounds, according to 8. A standout performance was crucial to generating major buzz the fight, but Crawford's showing.
Maybe. Number one, I think Crawford needed to look exceptional against Madrimov, so we know that, okay, he's now good at 154. He can maybe take that double jump to 168. Although he looked good, he didn't look exceptional. And that's no slight on Crawford. Madrimov's a very good fighter, but I felt like we needed to see something a bit special for us to get really excited.
He then addressed the financial element, conceding that Canelo Alvarez's demands could pose a significant challenge. Oladipo added that Alashik offered an offer to Canelo, which was apparently declined. Canelo's asking for more over $100 million could be a huge impediment to the bout taking place.
Maybe Canelo's demands are just too big. I think Turkey said that he sent an offer to Canelo. I think Canelo's rejected it, and I think I saw an interview, or at least read something about Canelo wanting, I think, over 100 million. So, yeah.
Now, this fight is all about money. Only a large paycheck can make this happen, which Alashik is not offering. Jim Lampley, a well-known boxing commentator, discussed how this is a great opportunity for not only Canelo and Crawford to make a lot of money. He highlighted that Crawford, known as the sport's top pound-for-pound fighter, contrasts with Canelo, who leads in earnings. Lampley stated that, while fighters want to be number one pound for pound, the significant financial incentives provided are an important factor, particularly for someone like Crawford, who is 36 and has a limited career window. Lampley said Crawford is the pound. Canelo is the $4 number one fighter in the sport. What do you think fighters dream of going to bed at night as their careers progress? Do they dream of being number one pound for pound? Or when you've got the kind of money that's being thrown around by these people, is there only a certain amount of time left? He stated that Crawford, at 36, has a finite window to capitalize on significant earnings to achieve S. Crawford would meet face-to-face Canelo, the sport's highest earner. Lampley highlighted that this bout provides a critical opportunity for Crawford to secure a large paycheck before his career window closes, he said. Crawford is 36 years old and does not have much time to work toward reaching number one for $1 and tasting at least one or two of these payments. Crawford can only get to that money through one means: fighting. Canelo Alvarez shifted from Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing to Premier Boxing Champions because Canelo is number $1 for dollar and Crawford is number one pound for pound right now. TBC emphasizes a financial reason for his career choices. Canelo's move to PBC, coordinated by Al Haymon, resulted in a lucrative 3-fight deal worth more than $100 million, demonstrating his prioritization, big revenues. This shift illustrated how significant financial incentives may influence a fighter's promotional relationship with Canelo Alvarez. The battle is now set to take place against Edgar Berlanga rather than the anticipated clash against David Benavidez, raising doubt over the outcome. A debut with Benavidez has been long sought, but financial problems have halted it. Canelo's significant payment demands have been a major factor, causing delays and a shift in opponents. Canelo Alvarez addressed the reasons for his significant financial demands for a potential fight with David Benavidez. He acknowledged the risks involved, noting Benavidez's skill and physical advantage as he would enter the ring significantly heavier. Despite these challenges, Canelo expressed confidence in his ability to win if the financial terms were met. Canelo Alvarez stated, "Obviously, he is a risk. He's a great fighter, and he brings to the ring on fight night 25 pounds more than me. But I don't care about that because if the money is right, I can beat that guy tomorrow." In a recent podcast, he stated that only this amount of money can make him stand against Benavidez, and he would not be willing to come below $200 million by any means. Asterisk asterisk.
If someone's willing to put up the 250 million,
I mean,
would you negotiate down?
no less than 200.
No less than 200.
Ooh.
All right, let's get 200. Hey, y'all, there's enough people in the room. Let's get the money.
Terence and his team, allegedly triggered by these insensitive remarks made about his son Teofimo Lopez Sr., stated that his son is the best fighter at 140 at the moment. And for Brian Bomac McIntyre to say things like this is mockery for the simple reason that they want to fight his fighter. Lopez even issued a lenient warning to Crawford, stating that they are ready to fight him at any time, as Teofimo has proved time and time again that he is a proficient and agile fighter who can also move up to either 147 or 150 to fight, but who is allegedly the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. He stated, "We are moving up to 147 to try to fight this guy, and if he doesn't want to fight us at 147, we will go and do it at cash weight. We could do it at 150 or 150, even if he wants to." Though many people were not roused by Teofimo's latest performance against Steve Claggett, Lopez Sr. emphasized that this perspective is hypocritical, as in the past his son was able to conquer Josh Taylor, who at that time was a force to be reckoned with. Lopez Sr. added, "People don't understand, my son is an expert. He reads you, he knows what movement you are going to make every time you make the movements. We beat Josh Taylor so easily that nobody in the world could do it." However, recalling the fight between Teofimo and Josh Taylor last year, it might not be as illustrious as Lopez Sr. makes it out to be. Although Teofimo won the battle with a unanimous decision, the performance that was displayed is not adequate to challenge an undisputed world champion such as Crawford, despite his increasing age. Talking about Teofimo pursuing after guys that no one wants to face, Chris Algieri, a former boxer and welterweight world champion, stated that regardless of people discrediting Teofimo due to his foolish behavior, he is still a guy who does not shy away from meeting fighters who are bigger and tougher than him despite being at a clear disadvantage against them.
And a lot of things that do not. So yes, he is one of those guys who fights the difficult fights. He goes after the guys, like you said, Champ, Paulie, that, you know, he's sought after these big fights. He also fights a lot of these tough guys that people don't want to fight. The Sandor Martins of the world, the Jermaine Ortizes of the world. Those are tough outs, and you don't get a lot for beating them. And then when you get raked over the coals when you don't stun.
Chris, on the other hand, pointed out Teofimo's insincerity in claiming that everyone is allegedly disregarding him because of his insistence on only fighting guys like Terence Crawford when there are plenty of other competitors in his weight class to fight. In the meantime,
See matchups when you're starting to chase dragons and gorillas, like I always say, like the Terence Crawfords of the world. Lions and tigers and bears. Yeah, lions, tigers, bears, dragons. You start chasing these kinds of fights, it turns the fans off because you have a ton of tigers that you can actually fight all around you. And you're chasing.
Recapitulating the same points that were made by Brian Bomac McIntyre earlier on, Chris Fool pointed out how Terence is not fascinated by the idea of fighting Teofimo at all, as this is not worth his time or caliber. So according to Chris, the best strategy that Teofimo could employ is to stay in his weight class and fight guys who are compatible with him rather than go after a fighter who is many weight classes above him. Chris said Crawford never brings up Teofimo because it's not a real fight, and it's not a choice on the table, so I think he needs to focus more on the guys that are right around him. He added, "There's a lot of tough guys around him, and I don't see how Teofimo is going to be jumping up 3 weight classes to fight Terence where he's at right now." Paulie Malignaggi, who appeared on the very same show as Chris, countered his point in Teofimo's support, stating that this move of Teofimo to strive for fights against big fighters like Terence Crawford might not be such a deplorable idea, as this will give him a chance to finally showcase his skills and prove to the world that he is a worthy opponent as well, in spite of them ignoring his callouts. He said he does call these guys out, but they don't want to fight him, saying they have their own thing going on or they have different networks. They all make reasons people don't really want to fight. Teofimo Lopez giving an example of his work. Steve Cletpulli stated that if Teofimo abandons his goals to seek out the best fighter, he might be stuck with fighters like Steve, who, despite being good opponents, are not very marketable or entertaining to watch or content. Pulley stated, if he doesn't do it, he's going to get stuck facing the Steve Sets of the world, who are solid but not big enough names to where he gets the best of himself going. He's one of those guys who fights at the level of their opposition, sharing the same opinion as his fellow pundit, Tim Bradley, who emphasized that in any sport, particularly boxing, there is nothing wrong with a fighter striving for sizable opponents who can provide them the golden chance to step forward in their career, and that is exactly something that Teofimo seems to have in his mind.
Man, he's a type of fighter that fights to the level of his competition. So if he fights a guy like Crawford, he's going to show up and he's going to...
Addressing the most common criticism that Teofimo is only going after guys like Crawford for the attention and the profit that he will make out of it. Teofimo stated that at the end of the day, every fighter in the boxing world yearns to make a name for themselves and to leave a legacy behind. So for everyone to gather against Teofimo for doing the same is not logical. Teofimo stated he wants to fight the best guy that's going to give him the best payday at the same time, so he's more about reputation, as you can also hear in his voice. Greg Hackett, who is a notable trainer, believes that the claims made from two sides about forging a legacy by fighting only guys like Terence are hollow, as he is only squandering his time when he can just focus and fight other fighters in his own weight class, which is not a convenient option for Crawford, so he moves up to higher weight classes. Greg said it is not a serious fight because he doesn't have anybody to fight, but you've got plenty of guys to fight like Teofimo. Greg also talked about how if this unforeseen bout ever takes place, Terence will categorically win, as he is just a superior fighter as compared to a much smaller Teofimo. Always, even after his recent fight against Madrimov, Greg stated, "You come in looking little. He is knocking you out, but it is too much for Teofimo, too much in experience, too much in size, too much in skill, and too much in everything," giving his take about the reproval that Teofimo seems to get a lot. Greg specified that the most evident reason that Teofimo has in his mind, while giving all these shouts to Crawford, is to capitalize on Bud's popularity, which is a controversial tactic that many fighters these days seem to opt for.
I feel like Teo did that because Bud got a buzz right now, and it would seem crazy, it would seem out of this world if Teo took a fight like that and nobody saw it coming, so let me use his name. It's just like other fighters use other fighters' names.
Antonio Tarver, a former heavyweight world champion, also believes Terence will easily defeat Teofimo in this fight, stating that he is far more robust than Teofimo in every way, and that while the younger fighter has impressive qualities, they do not compare to Bud's.
I got
Man,
Crawford.
talk about Magic, man.
I got Crawford because I see him being a bigger Teofimo.
Yeah.
He's a bigger Teofimo that can do everything.
Ooh.
You feel me?
Ooh.
Yeah, bigger Teo. Teo got all the intangibles, power, boxing, everything.
Yeah.
But I think Crawford has that too, but he's bigger.
Meanwhile, regardless of the majority of the boxing world standing in his opposition, Teofimo still fixated on the idea of fighting top-tier boxers, including someone like Errol Spence Jr., whom he mentioned in his most recent statement. And it comes as no surprise that Yaron was able to catch Teofimo's attention, as Boots is one of the most prominent and distinguished fighters in the welterweight division with a preeminent record of 32 wins with 29 knockouts with the...
I feel like Teo did that because Bud got a buzz right now, and it would seem crazy, it would seem out of this world if Teo took a fight like that and nobody saw it coming, so let me use his name. It's just like other fighters use other fighters' names.
However, Dan Rafael thinks that despite Teofimo's ongoing demands for a fight, Boots Ennis and Terence Crawford should fight with each other rather than hash things out with Teofimo, as that particular deal is not profitable for either of them at this stage in their careers. Dan stated Boots Ennis is a welterweight, and if he moves up one weight division and if there's enough money on the table for that fight, I think both sides would absolutely do it, being aware of all the inside scoop of the boxing world, then disclose the real reason for Turkey having a change of heart about orchestrating the big Canelo versus Crawford fight, which seemed to be Canelo's refusal to bend to his swim according to them. Even though this particular fight might not see the light of day, Turkey still plans on organizing big fights for Crawford, including the bout with Boots Ennis or perhaps even Teofimo Lopez, as he stated he Canelo hasn't kissed the ray, if you will, so Turkey still wants to do Crawford fights. He wants to deliver Crawford a big fight, and Canelo obviously would be a big event, but he just had a change of heart, I guess. So in the end, what do you guys think? about the cancellation of the much-anticipated match between Canelo and Crawford. Do you think that it was the right move by Turki Alalshik? Should Teofimo Lopez really be looking after a fight with Terence Crawford? Make sure to tell us about your thoughts in the comments below, and if you like this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel.